Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Laguna Seca. This week the races have been a little bit rough. I mean, I know it's school holidays and everything, but the carnage has come back and the chaos has ensued some more. As you'll be able to see in this race, it was pretty rough. As you come down to our first corner, braking down the second gear and taking it nice and tight on the inside line. Try and keep away from the bit of the trouble. A few people's already gone off the track, so if we keep away from that, let them rejoin. Because if we don't let them rejoin, they'll make us let them rejoin. Honda comes in a little bit hot behind me, hits me, and then starts hitting me some more because once wasn't enough. So just check who it is. There they are, and they brake test in the corner. I flip the back of them, and then we carry on down to the next corner. Trying to make a bit of gains here, get away from the cars behind. We're still in P10 at the moment. Taking the inside line quite tight and accelerating out to get a better fast run up the hill. As we come up to our next corner, looking out the right hand side for the 200 marker, braking down to third gear. The Honda takes it quite slowly, surprisingly. You could do that about 90 miles per hour, so I don't know why they went down to 75. Coming up to the corkscrew, I brake a little bit late and coming in a bit hot, so I dive to the left down the first gear, trying to get the car to slow down, and I cut the corner a little bit. Gives me a little bit of a penalty, but sends the Honda off, which isn't too bad, I guess. I back out and let the Honda keep that position because I don't want to get rammed off the track any further, and try and keep behind them and basically apply the pressure. So in the next corner now, I'm hoping they will make a mistake and I brake a little bit early before the 200 board, take it tight and accelerate out the corner earlier than they do. The MG is faster in the straight line than the Honda, and that's what I've got to use. You can see in the Honda in the rear view mirror, they go off the track, they come back on and go into the middle of the track, nearly taking the focus, I think that's behind me, for focus out and other vehicles. Braking down to second gear, take it nice and tight again, let the carnage ensue behind and let them have the fun with that while I keep on the inside and out the way of all the trouble. Coming up to our next corner in third gear, about 70 miles per hour, let it coast round. As soon as you hit the white outer curve, start accelerating there. The corner does get tighter as you go through. Rub the sausage on the inside and accelerate out the other side on that corner, and you can do it in fourth gear. You can do it a lot faster than what I just did. Looking out for the 200 board, braking down to about 75 miles per hour and then accelerate as soon as the curb stops being red and white on your left hand side and come up this hill as fast as you can. Looking out for the 200 board on your right hand side, braking down to third gear, about 85-90 miles per hour. Try and get on the inside of the curb, but don't hit the sausage like I did, and you can get a right good run up this hill here. I brake just before the brow of the hill at the corkscrew down to second gear and take it nice and tight and slow, and then put it into third gear to reduce the wheel spin coming out that corner. I undertake the Hyundai, and Hyundai then clips my inner side, which basically, as I'm turning left, puts the car off balance of trying to corner. I say I was in front of them, they turned in. I just don't understand it, like, you know, if there's a car there's no point turning in for it, like, you know. It isn't going to work. It's not an invisible object. But we're coming over the start and finish line, and we have made a few places. Now we're in P8, chasing after P7. Coming out the corkscrew, we caught up to P7, and it's time to try and apply the pressure to them. As we're coming down to the final two corners of the track, they do a glorious slide through this corner, and I've managed to take up the inside line of that corner. Braking at the 200 board, the Audi scrapes me on the left hand side and then slides a little bit too wide off the track. So that's a position gain for me and the Hyundai behind me. So now we are in P7. The car in front has a 1.1 second penalty, and we have a good bit of catching up to do, I think, here. 5 seconds ahead. Skipping ahead to the start of the final lap, we don't catch up to P6 position. We make a second back, but I make quite a large gap from the cars behind. As you can see in P8, the player has a 5.6 second penalty, which is huge. It's quite a rough penalty. I did manage to give myself another penalty. I think it was at the corkscrew again, but never mind. There's only a couple of second more penalty. But as you can see, I'm coming here, pushing the car a little bit too much, a little bit hot, and I go off the track a little bit. Tires are starting to wear. I did change pit lap 5, put another set of medium tires on. They last about 5 laps, and it's quite even wear, to be fair. It's quite nice that you can do half a race, change medium tires, half race again. I'm pretty sure one set of hard tires do not last this race. I think you get like another 2 laps if you want them to softs after. So if you're going to go the hard strategy, do 8 laps on the hard and then 2 laps on the softs. As you come through the corkscrew, second gear, and then power on out the other side. You can see player 1 is 30 seconds ahead. They are long gone. I guess they managed to keep themselves safe away from all the stuff that we had to have fun with. As you can see, the Hyundai is in front. I'm going to try and make a move on the Hyundai now. They go off track, so I presume their tyres are pretty much dead. So I'm hoping I can gain on this, braking late, take it nice and tight, and accelerating as fast as I can out that corner and take the inside of the line. See if I can get a bit of slipstream, overtake, and see if I can gain that position. Ultimately, I'm just a little bit off. But on to the next race. We're back at Laguna Seca, and again, I don't qualify. I start off in P15 position. Let's see how far up the pack I can go now. But the start of this race is interesting to say the least. You watch the DHL Audi to my right, dives to the left because the Honda doesn't pull away straight away. I guess they forgot the race was about to start. And I can't really grumble because I managed to gain 4 places. So that was a banging little cut through I managed to create myself. Coming up to our first 2 corners, everything is everywhere, everybody is everywhere, and a few more places are gained. We're in P7, now about to take P6. The Lavorg on the left hand side clips me like I'm not there on the inside of the track. Helps me throughout the corner, but I guess the apex syndrome is back again. Coming up to our next corner in 3rd gear, taking about 80 miles per hour, a little bit slower than I could have. I could have gone a little bit more, but trying to catch up to P5, which is code 3787. We do catch him up quite quickly, oddly enough. So now as we come to our next corner, do I make a move here? That's what I'm thinking. Or should I just stay back and see if there's another mistake to be made and I can capitalize on that? Just like that. So again, up the inside here, and I do right now the sneakiest little dive bomb cut through I've done in ages. Coming in a little bit hot, and I do not know how I did not get a penalty throughout that. I must have been literally on that limit of boundary for the track because I gained so much through there and it just looked majestic, I'm not gonna lie. Catching up to P3, braking at a 200 board on the right hand side, 2nd gear, and I take it quite tight up the inside again. Now I'm behind an MG that says meow. And I'm looking to see if I can get a bit of slipstream and make a move again. But the issue I have now, the next corner is a 2 left hand corner, so I'm going to go up the inside here, nice and tight, a little bit of a dive bomb to an extent, and then make it work. That is P3 gained. Now trying to chase down P2, Lupus 3483. I don't take this corner the best, the car's a bit unsettled and it's not gripping as well as it should. But this corner I get much better and I start making gains on P2 position. You can see I'm getting a good lap times as well, getting a bit quicker, braking at the 200 board, in 3rd gear, rub that in the curb and power on out the other side. Coming up the hill here, you're looking out for the 200 board again on your right hand side, braking down to 3rd gear, about 90 miles per hour, and come up the hill. You can see I'm still catching up to P2. Coming up towards a corkscrew, braking a little bit early. I don't want to get sucked into a bit of aero wash, and down to 2nd gear, take it nice and tight, and then into 3rd gear out the other side to try and reduce that wheel spin. Try and keep on the darker part of this track here, clip this in the curb and power on out the other side. It's the fastest line and you get the best bank angle so you can take the corner much quicker, just like that through there. And as you can see, I'm gaining here, looking out for the 200 board, braking down to 2nd gear. I've taken it wide, I don't know where the Audi is to my left, they're on the inside there, and I can power out the corner. I am actually powering out quite substantially quicker than they are, which is quite surprising because the Audi is really not far off the MG, so I expected them to be quicker. Again, braking down to 2nd gear, rubbing that in the curb. I'm taking it quite tight so I can get a better run out of the corner here and have a bit more speed. Come back over to your left hand side, down to 3rd gear, and come over to your right and rub this outer white curb. Still holding it in 3rd gear. You can go into 4th gear like I say here, but to hold it in 3rd gear, have a little bit of a tighter run through the corner and coming down here. Looking out for the 200 board on your right hand side, braking 3rd gear, about 18 miles per hour, 75-80 miles per hour, and accelerate up the hill. I don't take it as cleanly as I can, but we are 10 seconds away from P1, so they are still gaining from us here. which is obviously not something we want to see. Come up to the corkscrew again, braking a little bit later, just at the brow of the hill, second gear, and take it as tight as you can. And then into third gear, reduce that wheel spin and come down the hill. Turn the darker part of the track into fourth gear, rub that in the curb, and power on out the other side. Back to your left hand side again, braking, rub that in the curb, and power on through. Come back to your right hand side, looking out for the 200 board, braking, down the second gear, clip that in the curb, and power on again. I presume they may have forgot to change their tyres. They may have been on softs if they've gone to the pits now. So that is a P1 gain for me. Can I hold it? That is the big question. Can I hold it? We are 3 seconds ahead of Lupus in P2. They also have a penalty. So long as I don't go off the track or go swimming or stop for a cup of tea somewhere, I think I might have this one in the bag. Coming up to the next corner in third gear, rub the inner curb and bring it over to your outside and accelerate on the way out. Again, looking for the 200 board on your right hand side, braking down to third gear and let it rub that inner curb and power on as soon as the curb stops, and up the hill we go. Under the bridge on the right hand side, 300, braking for 200, and in third gear about 90 miles per hour and up the hill towards the corkscrew. As we approach the corkscrew, we're looking for the brow of the hill here and braking just before that as hard as you can down to second gear, and then just rub the curbs on the left and the right hand side. Into third gear, coming out of there, reducing the wheel spin, reducing the tyre wear, and then you can take this corner in fourth gear, being a bit quicker than I am, and the same in this corner. A little bit quicker, going a little bit tighter towards that curb gives you much better entry and much better exit. Braking at the 200 board, flip the curb and coming down over the start and finish line. Now the weather looks like it's changing. This isn't looking too pretty at the moment. We have gained 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We're getting quite a few seconds, 4 seconds from P2 position. So someone's overtaken them, so I guess there might have been a little bit of a battle between them. Not grumbling though, because it's better for me the further they are away, because it relieves the pressure from my back of worrying about how close they are, if they can gain time on me, if they're braking time for me, you know, instead of constantly monitoring it, making sure my pace is on par and where they are, I can just more relax in the situation and know, unless I make a mistake, I'm pretty comfortable in the position I am in. Of course, a mistake is easy to make, and we've all done it. The last thing I want to do is make a mistake, go off track, and 10 seconds can be eaten up very quickly if you go off track. But as we come towards the corkscrew, braking at the brow of the hill, down to second gear, and taking as tight as you can, and into third gear for better tyre. But my tyres are knackered, so I'll do it in a second. I'm not overly fussed now. I'm going to go into the pits and get a new bit of rubber put on. Thinking about it though, my next concern that's just come into my head is, what if someone is on a set of hard tyres? This pit entry and the pit manoeuvre takes quite some time. Going into the pits, choosing your tyres and coming out the other end of the pits. If someone is on hard tyres, they're just going to sail past me, which isn't the feeling I am most comfortable with. I'm not going to lie. Let's have a look. New tyres, we're getting it done in 2.71 seconds and someone hasn't pitted there. That is not good. That means they're going to have P1 by the time I come out the pits, because look how long it takes. They've sailed past and I'm just exiting the pit now. Not good. But they do have a 2.5 second penalty and they are 4 seconds ahead, which is quite a lot. So let's say they're what, 10 seconds, well 15 seconds behind me because they wasn't on the board. Now they're 4 seconds ahead. That whole pit and everything has taken about 20 seconds of time, which is quite a lot to lose in a race. But if they're on hard tyres, I'm on medium, their hard tyres are going to be wearing much more towards the end of the lap. Not end of the lap, end of the race. So if I can keep the pressure on and push them to wear the tyres even more, then I can basically capitalise on that, because I'll have the much better, much faster medium tyres and they'll be on worn hard tyres. We have already gained a second on them with 2.8 seconds away, and that was through pretty much half the lap, which can't really grumble. We are gaining quite quickly on them, to be fair. 2 seconds away now. I come in a bit hot in the corkscrew and cost myself a few attempts there, but I do have 4 laps to play with. So instead of rushing myself, I can still pace myself, be quicker, and then apply pressure further on throughout the race. Braking at the 200 marker, down to second gear, clip that in a curve and power on out the other side. We're now 1.7 seconds away, so even if I don't overtake, I've gained that place with their huge penalty they have. We are 1.1 second away, so I'm really catching up with them on the straights. And I think the Levorg they're in is not the fastest on the straights, but it is great at saving on tyres due to it being rear wheel drive, and it was a much more balanced setup than most of the touring cars. It just needs a few extra horsepowers. We're right up behind them now, and I get caught up in a bit of air wash, sends me off the track. The MG does get affected by air wash a good bit, surprisingly. Like I say, when the last video I had, or the video before where the Honda really wasn't affected by it, the MG can be affected by it and create a huge amount of understeer, to be fair. Now going up the inside, going to try and make a move on the Levorg here, braking at the 200 marker into third gear, and they clipped me on the inside. There's no way they didn't see me because I was ahead of their vehicle, so I guess the apex syndrome is affecting that person too. Braking at the top of the corkscrew, down in second gear, take it nice and tight and come out the other side into third gear, and maximizing the grip that you can have. You can see I made 1 second from them just through the corkscrew alone, and just getting the least amount of wheel spin and the most amount of power down on the wheels. I'm now 1.5 seconds ahead, braking at the 200 marker, down to second gear, and cross over the start and finish line. The Levorg went through there very slow for some reason, so I wonder if they're on medium tyres, because like I say, the Levorg are massively tyre safe. So I wonder if they're on medium tyres and now they're starting to really show their age. But now we are 3.7 seconds ahead of the Levorg, and coming through our first 2 corners there, over to the left hand side for the third corner, and power on the other side. Again, I go a little bit too wide. I'm accelerating too early and creating my own silly little issues. I don't need to do so really, because I am massively gaining on the Levorg, but I'm creating my own pressure in my mind. It's pretty daft to be saying it, but having that pressure in your head that I want to get away from them, even though I am gaining, like, you know, but I'm taking things a little bit quick and a little bit silly. Sometimes it's hard to get out of that mindset, you know, you get stuck in your own little head. But we are gaining, we're 8 seconds ahead, and like I say, they have a 2.5 second penalty, so that's 10.5 seconds ahead. Well, coming up now it's going to be 11 seconds ahead, so I can't really grumble. Really, I'm maximising this track, maximising this car, and overall doing pretty well. As we come over the start and finish line to start our last lap, we are 18.2 seconds away from position 2, which is a huge lead from everybody else. Coming down to the first corner, down in second gear, taking it at the optimal racing line rather than being as tight as possible, having a bit faster through the corner and coming out the other side, leaving it in third gear, rub that in the curb and powering on. You see now, because I've got a substantial gap, I'm not making silly little mistakes by applying my own mental kind of pressure when there's no pressure to be needed. Coming up to the next corner on the right hand side, looking at the 200 marker, braking down the third gear, rub that in the curb and power on out the other side, and up the hill we go. As you're under the bridge, looking on your right hand side for the 200 marker, braking down the third gear, rub that curb at about 90 miles per hour, and up the hill we go towards the corkscrew. As we get to the top of the hill here, braking down to second gear and taking the corkscrew as quickly and tightly as possible. A bit more like that. I've been rubbing that little inner sausage and it hasn't been upsetting the car too much, and I'm having a bit more of a straighter line, so don't know whether to recommend it or not, but it's been working. It's not been too bad. Looking out on your right side for the 200 marker, braking down the second gear, rub that in the curb and power on through and out the other side. As we cross over the start and finish line, we are 20 seconds ahead of P2. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.